Have you heard, everyone? Our very own Jason, the producer, is going out on loan to a cable access show for the offseason. Here we go.
Superstar. Well, I have to stay sharp for the World Cup.
I just hope it doesn't distract us.
Oh, never, Shep. Nothing will distract us when the playoffs are going on. We're too focused. It's do or die time, people. Next on Extra Time. Hey everybody, welcome to Extra Time. I'm Greg Lawless alongside Shep Messing and Jason, the producer. Act 1 this week, Crew-zing for a bruising, with all of the pun intended in that one. Basically, the Columbus Crew went out to Real Salt Lake and they did everything right for 88 minutes in their first round playoff game with Real Salt Lake, and then one mental lapse and it all fell apart and they gave up a goal. It was actually one of many gaffes all around the league in this first weekend of the playoffs. Jason, why are they having so much trouble?
I think we saw a lot of playoff nerves out there. The funny thing is, in the first game in Houston-Seattle, I thought that was the most mistake-free game. But then you get into the later games, and LA and Chivas, it was, we'll give you the ball, you give us the ball, we give you the ball.
Michael Santos clearance was like AYSO right all over again.
Yeah. For me, it's all about where on the field you make a mistake. You can make it in the attacking third, sometimes get away in the middle of the field. You make a mistake at the back. Hopefully, for those teams that gave goals away, they can build on it, get the jitters out, play better in the second game.
Well, lots of goals given away. Reese giving a goal to Chicago with that save that he pushes out into Chris Rolfe. And, of course, Omar Gonzalez with the back pass. That was a problem for the Los Angeles Galaxy. And really, it was just a mental breakdown from the Columbus Crew that gave Real Salt Lake the win. But you also have to give credit to Real Salt Lake. Great ball from Movsisian in. Robbie Finley makes a terrific run to the near post and puts it away for the 1-0 win. Let's think about this Real Salt Lake Columbus series now. You guys both thought that maybe Salt Lake had a chance at an upset. Is 1-0 enough for them?
I would say that they definitely wanted to get out of there 2-0, 3-1, anything like that. I even said I thought the game should have been a shootout. It should have been run and gun, and Real Salt Lake would have been better off getting into that kind of game. I think they can do it at 1-0. I think it's just going to be much more difficult.
Well, let's get to Warzija and his decisions not to play Barros Schelotto. No Alejandro Moreno up top either. Looking at the second game, they're coming home. Give us a little bit of the mindset of Warzija in that game against Salt Lake the first time, and will he change it for the second one?
I don't have a problem with what he did. I have a problem, Robert Warzija, with what he said, because it's Schelotto. He's your guy. If you want to say, you know what, we're playing in altitude, we have a short turnaround, we want him to dominate at home, I'm going to rest him, okay. But don't come out and throw your star player under the bus. And I think that's what he did by saying, hey, you know what, last 5-6 games, we haven't scored goals. Basically saying he hasn't done anything for us. So I question what he said, not what he did.
I agree with Shep on that point. Maybe the way he went about it, he didn't really explain it well, or I don't know about throwing him under the bus. But I'll tell you this much. Schelotto being on the field or not being on the field didn't have anything to do with somebody not tracking Finley on that run, or Frankie Hayduk kind of lollygagging and not getting him in Movsisian's face. So Warzija, I don't blame Warzija. The Crew in the second half of the season were 1-3-3 with Schelotto starting in the lineup. Right, they weren't dominant by any means.
It makes a difference.
So I get that, he is a great player, and the first half of the season had an MVP first half. Okay. But that doesn't bleed over into the second half. It shouldn't bleed over into the playoffs.
Will it bleed into the second game of this series? That's a question. Is Barros Schelotto going to get back onto the field? If I think about this second game, I think you have to put him on the field. He's a big-time player. You're going to need a big-time result.
Look, absolutely. I'm critical of the mentality that Columbus went into that game with. Having said that, I think they have a manageable game coming up. I think they're going to get through. Salt Lake has been woeful on the road. I think Salt Lake needed a multiple goal victory to have a chance. I think Columbus at home gets it done.
I mentioned a minute ago, and you came at me about that. Will Salt Lake pack it in? We've seen them pack it in earlier games this season. If they do, can they get the draw that they need?
Absolutely not. Salt Lake cannot pack it in for 90 minutes against Columbus. No team in MLS can pack it in for 90 minutes against Columbus. I'll tell you what, as much as I said Schelotto wasn't the great player in the second half of the season, if you give him one game to produce and you're going to sit your guys back, you're going to lose. What Salt Lake needs to do is they need to get Movsisian on the field, they need to get Finley on the field, and they need to make Columbus weary of them in the counterattack.
Well,
so Columbus needs to go forward and get that goal, but if there's no threat for Salt Lake on the other end, if they can say, well, they have one striker up there and Marshall can handle him.
This is why I love Robbie Finley, actually. He reminds me of, say, a Charlie Davies. He's got that speed that can be dangerous. It may not always create a goal, but there's always that threat. You have to keep that defense a little bit back. And Movsisian can do the same thing with his play in the ball.
You talked about it before. Why wasn't Movsisian in for 90 minutes? I mean, how in the world do you bring him on late? He's got to be on the field, I think, if you're
Well, he hasn't really
I'll tell
started
you-
for a while, but he
right.
keeps producing.
And I'll tell you why he hasn't been on the field. Because when him and Finley are on the field, they haven't been scoring. They haven't done well with both of them on the field. In this game in Columbus, I think you need Movsisian on the field more than Finley. Movsisian can hold the ball. He can create something out of nothing. And not to downgrade Finley at all. He's a great player and he does well. But Movsisian, if he gets the ball out wide, he's the kind of guy who can take on two players and create something out of nothing.
And he did.
Yeah, so for me, Movsisian's on the field. Whether Finley's on the field or not, I don't know. You figure that out if you're Jason Kreis.
Well, we'll see what the coaches decide. That game is on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, ESPN2. Quick prediction. What do you got?
Columbus, Scalotto, the maestro in the midfield, I think they go through.
I think it's going to be 1-1 or 2-2. I think Real Salt Lake's going to be able to score on the counter.
Jason's on the RSL bandwagon. Make sure you catch that game on Thursday night. Well, it's time now to announce the winner of the ET Guest Reporter Contest, which we've been running for about the last month. And we broke it down to the finalists last week. And the winner, of course, had to be the Luchador, didn't it?
Yeah, I think he entertained us all, and at the Revs' expense in some cases.
And I just have a question for you, Coach Nickel. So what exactly did you say to that fourth official to get banned for 2 games? Did you say, "Sir, I respectfully disagree"? Only it didn't come out like that.
He took it the wrong way.
No, I'm left-footed, so I'm going to put it over there, okay? All right.
His name is Michael Toole. He's from New England. He's a season ticket holder with the Revolution, and we're surprising him because we're going to call him right now.
Hello?
Michael.
Yes.
Hi, this is Greg Lawless from ExtraTime on MLSnet.com.
Hi, Greg.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Terrific. Well, we are calling, and you are actually on the air right now. We're recording this because we're calling to tell you that you have won the ExtraTime Guest Reporter Contest.
That's pretty amazing, Greg.
Yeah, there you go. You're going to join us in Seattle for the MLS Cup, obviously. First of all, we have to know, where do you get your luchador masks?
I get them from a couple of sources. There's an American website called High Spots that sells them, and I get custom masks made by Deportes Martinez, a company that's actually based in Mexico.
Wow. Congratulations, Michael. We look forward to having you out at MLS Cup. So what do you think the chances of New England making it out there with you are?
Yes, I think it's a coin toss at this point. They're a ragged bunch, but they're putting it all out there. They posted a great performance against Chicago, and I'm looking forward to the tie in Toyota Park this weekend. I think they can make the conference final for sure. I think Chicago are kind of sitting back and panicking, but I think it's going to depend on who we get in the conference final. I think they can definitely take RSL, but Columbus, I'm not so sure.
Well, Michael, we look forward to having you out there in Seattle with us. Have you been to that stadium? Have you seen them play out there before?
I've been watching the games on television. I'm very impressed with the level of support they got there. I think the ownership group are great. They've done everything right in their first year, and I'm really psyched to go there for MLS Cup and see it all firsthand. I think it's going to be amazing.
Hey, Michael, should we expect to see the mask out there?
It's quite likely, yeah.
Does anybody know what you actually look like?
My wife does.
And that's it. Well, Michael, we're very excited about you joining us in Seattle, and congratulations on winning the ET Guest Reporter Contest. Michael Toole, the winner of the ET Guest Reporter Contest, will be joining us out at Quest Field for the live show that we're going to be doing before MLS Cup. I think we might all have to get some luchador masks.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, he's got the best, and we'll figure out some way to complement that mask that he wears.
You're assuming that I don't already have one, Greg.
You're right. I was assuming that. I don't want to know what you do in your personal time, but that's the way it goes. Well, that's all for Act 1, but join us for Act 2, and we will break down the other 2 series New England and Chicago, and Los Angeles and Chivas. Join us.